Hey, it's DIY Gemini, and today I'm really excited because we're going to get crafty and create 5 different gifts for a plant lover in your life. So let's get into it. Okay, so as you can tell, I am also one of those said plant lovers. I'm not necessarily like a green thumb or anything, but I think I do okay for what I have in the house. I have all plants all over my house, including my bedroom here, and also like in our bathroom, which I created that jungle trellis, so it creates a whole like jungle vibe in the bathroom. So I wanted to do this video for if you want to make some of these for yourself or for a plant lover in your life. So most of these are going to be very easy and very accessible. Some of them are going to be a little bit more like testing if I can actually DIY this or not. So we'll find out if we can do that. So let's get started with our first project. So we're going to start off really easy. Like I said, we're going to start off with doing a clay project, and then we'll work our way to a little bit more questionable to see if I can do that or not. Okay, so first we're going to start off with the plant stake. This is going to be inspired by the plant stake from Tierra Soul Studio. This is super cute, just a wavy like take on a plant stake that's just not a boring like just stick straight up. So we're going to make some designs. This should be fairly easy to make. So I have some oven baked clay. Cut it down. So I'm just gonna warm this up in my hand first. So I'm really excited to work with clay again because it's been a while since I've worked with clay. The last clay project that we did was the Korok plant buddies that came out really cute. I kind of want to make some more because I've gotten more plants now, and I kind of want to put a Korok in every single one. There is the new Zelda game coming out soon, so are you guys planning on getting it? Let me know. I think I'm going to get it because it looks super cute, and I get to play as Zelda this time and not Link, so we'll see. Not gonna lie, I'm still playing Tears of the Kingdom. I still have not beat it yet because I've been lollygagging and doing like all the side quests and not completing it all out. So, all right, our clay is warmed up now, so let's roll it out. So you can have a wire going through this so that it has some type of structure as well, but I think this should be just fine. I'm making a really short one. I don't think it should matter too much. I have to just do it on here. I want it to be thick enough that it holds, but also not too thick that it takes forever to bake. Alright, so now I want to make it like this part, this stake, and then we'll do okay, now that we're done with the wavy shape, we are going to do a second one, just making a little heart. But I also want to mix this guy in there somehow, so introduce some color. The other one I'm going to paint. Working with clay is just so like therapeutic. Seriously, it's just so fun. You want to over roll it because then it becomes like the colors start meshing together. I want it to be sort of marbled and still separate, so we're not going to overdo it. I don't want it to actually connect because I want to be able to loop around the plants. Okay, so before popping these into the oven to bake, let's move on to our second clay plant lift and we'll put them in together. Alright, so our next project is going to be making some clay flower frogs. These are inspired by these videos that I've been seeing online, and they look so cute and look really easy to make. I saw even one person making this out of wood. Since I have some clay out already, I'm just going to use some clay. All right, this one should be fairly easy as well. So yeah, let's do it. All right, we're mainly going to use this on top of our mason jars as our main vessel. This is a wide mouth one. I'm going to use the lid as our guide. Really excited to make some of these because I'm going to put these around in my home, and I love the plants in my house. It just brings me so much joy. Just seeing a new leaf pop up and like unfurl, or see like a new pup in my snake plant. I'm just so excited every time. And I'm like, yeah, we're thriving, we're growing. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm the only one. I'm also the type of person who like just cheers on their plants. And I'll be like, look at you grow, look at you grow. Like, I'm rooting for you. Like, yeah, those are all like bad puns, but like no pun intended. Like, I'm really excited when they are growing and thriving. I'm just like, man, I love seeing it, you know? So it's just really like really nice and relaxing. And it's very therapeutic just to look at my plants and just appreciate nature and just bringing that into my home. So we're going to roll out some oven baked clay to about 1/4 inch thick, and then we'll take a mason jar lid and imprint, but do not cut, that's very important, the shape to the clay. This will give us a guide for our next step. Next, we'll cut out our shape, and you can do whatever shape you want, but I'm going to be doing this wavy floral shape here, and I'm just going to freehand it, but you could totally use like a cookie cutter if you want to. Save the excess to the side, as we're going to use that in a second. We're going to take something circular to create a bunch of holes around the inside of that circle that we just made from earlier from that mason jar lid. This is a brass rod creating a 3/8 inch diameter circles all around, but if you want thicker stems like sunflowers say, you want to go maybe like 1/2 inch circles. And just as a like a little warning, if you have tryptophobia, which is a fear of like clustered circles, please move to this timestamp here to skip over this part. Now that we have our holes set up, I'm just going to smooth out the edges and just soften them up. You can use some water, and I have some tools here. Just soften up the edges. Alright, so I have the floral fog smoothed out, and we're on the back side now. We see the ring with our leftover clay. We're going to create a ring using this as our template. I just have some oven baked clay adhesive, and that's going to help stick it together. This ring is going to act as our lip for this to stay on the mason jar. Now our flower frog is ready for the oven, so I'll pop that in with our plant sticks from part 1 according to the instructions, and then we'll paint. I started to paint the flower frog in one of the plant sticks from before, but didn't love the color, so I ended up going with a different direction for both of them at the end. Anyway, here are the final results from the first 2 clay projects. Alright, so for our next project we are going to be making a no-mess potting mat using a rice bag. Yes, a rice bag. So I have this leftover rice bag from when I collected some rice bags to make a like duffel bag rice bag. I'll link that in the cards above if you haven't seen that already. So the idea of a potting mat, these are available everywhere, but basically you are using it to repot your plants, and then if the dirt falls in there, there's no mess because it's all collected in like this little tray of some kind, and then you can dump it out when you need to. But these are also foldable so that they can be stored easily when not in use. And since our rice bag is pretty much waterproof and it's very strong, it's kind of like a tarp-like material, you can use it to re-upcycle into a potting mat. So why not? It's super cute. Yeah, if you don't have one of these, you could just get like a tarp. They sell tarps at Dollar Tree, but I like that it has the rice bag design. So yeah, so the other thing you need is bias tape. I'm just gonna do a clean edge and put bias tape all the way around the edges, and then you just need a riveting tool or something to punch a hole in and make these buttons so that they snap into the corners so that they fold up into like a tray catch-all kind of deal. So this one should be fairly easy, so let's get started. So you only really need one layer to really do this, but since it's a little flimsy, I want to add the second layer. I'm going to use contact spray to glue both layers together. I'm using this bias tape I had sitting in my sewing kit for a while now, and just going to wrap it all the way around the edge of the rice bag with a straight stitch. This gives us a cleaner edge. Next, we'll pinch the corner together, and then we'll take our hole punch tool to pierce a hole through. Then let's add a snap button to each corner. And you can usually find this riveting kit at the craft store in the leather section, but if you don't have that, or if you don't want to get one, I think sticking on Velcro works just as well. As long as you're able to pinch the corners and it creates a wall all the way around like this, and also that you can flatten the entire thing and roll it up and store it away, that's perfectly okay. Optionally, you can also add a strap and keep it rolled tight like I did here, or you can use a rubber band, either way works. It's such a simple upcycle and very useful to any plant lover. Alright, our next project is going to be this plant charm slash like sun catcher. I saw this on Pinterest and I thought this was such a great idea just to bring extra like light into the space and more fun into the space. Alright, the original for this one was made by Atelier Intuitive. I will link them in the description below as well if you wanted to check out the original. But today we're just going to make our own using some stuff I got from the craft store. So we have some brass rods. I actually got this one online. And then I have some gold chain and gold pearls. And we have some charms and some jump rings to connect everything all together. And then we also have our crystals. These came from online as well. And they're like a little teardrop there and has a little hole at the top to link things all together. So yeah, I'm really excited to start this one. So let's get started. First things first, I want to bend this in the middle. Since this is so thin, it's pretty malleable. But I also want to be careful not stressing it too much. If you have something round, you can use that as your guide. I think she's all right. Our next step is to take this pearl necklace and cut a little strand using some wire cutters. And since our arch is pretty low, since I'm using just a 12-inch brass rod, I'm going to make it pretty short. Then we'll get some jump rings to connect the charm and the crystal sun catcher. Note that I definitely needed a bigger jump ring for attaching the crystal. And please don't judge me for using my big ugly pliers to do this very delicate work. I don't have my mom's jewelry pliers with me. Fun fact, I actually did learn how to make jewelry when I was younger in middle school because my mom was a jeweler back in the day. Is there any hobby I haven't really dabbled into? Let's be real. That's DIY Gemini for you. Okay, here's the first one. Oh, cute! Let's put it on one of my plants here. I'm also going to make a second one using some different charms. How cute is that? They're so stinking cute. So our last project is something that I said I am hoping I can pull off. So, but me having the Delulu mentality that I can literally make anything happen, we're going to attempt this, of course. So this is inspired by this watering system for your plants from Plant Straws. And I love how simple and functional it is, but also like just really visually beautiful and stunning. So you can place this all around your home. These are really good for if your plant is like kind of hard to reach, so you can't really water it all the time. So you'll just have a reservoir of water and the plant will draw in as it needs. It's also good for if you're a little lazy like me and can't water them all the time. So you have it just sitting there, you can set it, forget it, or if you go on vacation, it's nice to have that already being watered as it needs while you're gone. Another way I do this is using like plant stakes, and if you see these are basically like water bottles that I put into plant stakes, terracotta plant stakes into my plants, so then I don't have to water them like all the time. The plant would just take as it needs. Looking at this, it looks really simple enough, right? So like a metal tubing and some rope. So I figure we could use some macrame rope and either brass or copper tubing, since those are softer metals that we are able to bend. I'm a little worried about this because I've never bent metal like this before, and I don't know if I'll be able to get a smooth arch as the original inspo, but we're going to give it a shot. And let's get into our last project, shall we? So I'm going to redo the voiceover for this because I forgot how loud the heat gun would be right next to my mic. But basically what I was saying is that the brass is a really soft metal, which makes it easier to bend compared to like other metals. I have a 3/8 inch diameter tube and it's some flex in it, but still quite rigid. Typically people use heat to bend brass like with a propane or butane torch. I don't have those readily available right now, so I do have my heat gun and I'm going to attempt to bend the brass with that. I marked the middle of the tube at 12 inches and then 3 inches out from each side of that because that's where I want the curve of that U shape to be. And I'm going to concentrate the heat in the middle section only. I just twisted it around like a rotisserie chicken basically for several minutes. So what I'm watching for is for the change in color. It first turns a bit orange first and then a darker color. That's how I know the brass is softened or annealed. Our first try was a fail because I think I got too impatient and I tried to see if it was bending and then it snapped. So we're going to try it again. So those didn't really work out so well, but we're going to keep trying. And now I have caved and bought a new tool. I was really trying to avoid buying this, but I think this will help us in our journey. So this is a pipe bender. It does 3 different size tubing up to 3/8 inch, which is what I have. This kit in particular comes with a pipe cutter and a deburring tool, which helps soften the edges after cutting. And it was all for like 30 bucks. So that really isn't that bad. So yeah, hopefully this will help bend without the kinks. And we'll find out. Another technique I want to try with this is using salt. A couple of videos I have seen to prevent some of the kinking is to add either sand or salt to the inside of the tube, and then that will help fill up the inside of the tube so it's not hollow, so it's less likely to kink up. So hopefully that will also work for us. I'm going to have some duct tape. Tape off one end. So okay, it's really packed in there, hopefully. Alright, so we have our pipe bender and we have our pipe now filled with salt. And we're going to take this, open that up, and we're going to put this through the biggest channel here, which is 3/8 because that is the diameter of mine. And now we'll take this end and bend it, hopefully without kinking. This is going to take a little force, so hopefully I'm gentle enough. Oh, I feel like it's already kinking, but I don't know. Oh, yeah, it kinked. Sad. Alright, so the brass is either too soft for me bending, or it is the technique that I don't have down quite yet. So we're gonna switch over to copper, which is easily found at a lot of home centers. This was like $5 for 2 feet of copper. You're usually finding it in the plumbing section because people use these for coils and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to try to use copper because I feel like this is a little bit more sturdy and not as soft as the brass. Hopefully I don't get any kinks. All right, so we have our copper pipe cut to 1 foot, and I also filled it up with salt. So now it is time to bend, and this is going to take a lot more force than the brass one because the walls are a little bit thicker. So hope for the best. Let's hope for the best. Oh, please don't kink. We did it. You guys, that was a lot of work. Wow. So, but we did it to 180. Let's see if we have any kinks though. Guys, there are no kinks.
Hooray!
There are no kinks. We did it. What? We did it. Oh my god, we did it. It's a little bit more narrow than the inspo. It's a little bit wider of an arch for the inspo, but since this is the radius of this guy, that's what we were able to do. Okay, we have a slight issue. So we have an arch. It doesn't have any kinks, which is super great. Downside is that I have a hard time putting our rope through here. So especially around this curved tight part, since it's such a tight curve on this, I have a hard time getting the rope through. I'm going to see if we can just try to put the rope through while it's straight and then bend it and hopefully not get kinks. No kinks. I didn't even have to fill it with salt. In a last attempt to get closer to our inspo, I decided to make one from the full 2 foot length copper pipe and adjust it along the pipe bender to get a wider arch. I did get a little kink though, but it still worked. All right, thank you so much for watching today's video. I had so much fun making all of these, and I think my favorite has to be the plant charms that we made on top of these little plants here. I think they came out so darling and so cute. I do wish though that the crystal that I got originally sparkles more with the rainbows and gives a little bit more of the reflections around the room. I will link the original, but I will try to find a better one that does sparkle a little bit more. In the same size that I want, because I think the ones that did say sparkles, they were just too big. They were like huge. Another one I think that turned out really better than I thought was the plant mat, because it was just so simple to make and very easy. It took like 10 to 15 minutes and it's very useful. Apparently I just love making stuff with rice bags because rice is life. Again, tell me which one was your favorite out of all of them and which one would you try. And if you're interested in any of the behind the scenes stuff, I will post some more on Instagram and TikTok at Hi DIY Gemini. And yeah, I thank you so much for following all of this gift series. I'm sure I'll be making more later on at some point, especially closer to the holidays. So I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.